Celebrations have begun for Paris in Lisbon this evening. You saw Tuchel unable to join in with the rest of his team because he has that leg injury he suffered at a training session. But Paris, the first French team through to the Champions League final since Monaco in 2004, and they will play either Bayern Munich or Lyon in the final next weekend. So they've made history. It would have been historic for Leipzig, but their run to this far in the competition, historic in its own right. And we're going to look, Damien, just get straight into the action at Bernat's goal. Bit of controversy about this, but just talk us through, because this kind of finished it off very early.
Yeah, it was game over there, and you'd have to say, game plans aside, 3 awful goals. Nothing to do with tactics or anything like that. Poor from the goalkeeper. I think he was poor throughout there. Be more aggressive, smother the ball. Doesn't even come into this situation here. But yeah, absolutely demoralising. To be fair to Leipzig, they still had a crack off it afterwards. I think the goalkeeper can smother that and hold the ball. Yeah, as we'll look in a second, this isn't a free kick, so you know, under 15 stuff, play to the whistle, just get up, address the ball, not crawl, run to it. If he does, he might block the cross. If he doesn't, Bernat is then offside. So either way, he has to get up off the ground, try and stop the cross. If he doesn't, Bernat will be offside. So really schoolboy stuff.
But we're going to have a look, and we've used a bit of technology on this to blow up the 2 areas of contact, in inverted commas, where do you think there's contact here from Herrera?
There's contact twice there. He touches him, but when you press somebody, you always say get a hand on him, so it is not a free kick. Does he clip his heel? I think there's a slight touch, but does it affect Mukiele's stride? Absolutely not. So I think he's absolutely made a meal out of it. I think it's a good aggressive press from Herrera, and he just needs to get off the ground. He's took a dive. He's just chanced his arm thinking, I'll get out of this here by diving, because the referee will give it to me. And fair play to the ref, fair play to VAR. They stood up and made the correct decision, because it's never a dive.
What did you think of it, Richie? Well, the contact's
never
there.
Loads of the conversations around incidents like this, people say, was there contact or not? But there's a degree of contact required, and the touch on the shoulder, like if a grown man, let alone a professional athlete of his presumably level of fitness and strength, crumbles to the ground and stays there on account of the level of contact that maybe came from the fingers of Herrera, like.
But he could feel that. He knew there was contact, so I'm going to get a free kick and take the pressure off the defence.
I don't think there was enough contact there. I mean, we're assuming there was tiniest levels of contact there from the footage, and even the touch in the ankle, you're talking about the tiniest level. I see the argument you made. Yeah. Zero sympathy for him, and he completely got it wrong, and it was so insignificant on both times that I don't care what he's saying. He fell on the ground and he stayed there at a key moment of a massive game. Like, we built it up at the start about how significant this was for both clubs, historic level or historic achievement from both. Yeah. This kind of carry on at this level.
Okay, that was the goal that kind of finished the thing off, but there were other Paris chances in that second half that could have made it even more convincing.
Yeah, I think having to attack this PSG side will inevitably kind of give a bit of a impetus to Paris Saint-Germain to come at you. Brilliant ball in there from Di Maria to Mbappe. The goalkeeper here gets a hand to this, and it comes out to the follow-up shot here from, which is again comfortably saved. Di Maria here with a decent ball inside. This goalkeeper, he's not a great man for catching it. There's 2 occasions here he just seemed more inclined just to palm it back in the area.
He's not great at the passing either.
No, he had a bad night. And here it's a decent enough reflex save from a deflection clearance. But overall, as Duffer said, there was. We spoke before about the strategy and Nagelsmann, is he going to come up with the right formula, and what is that, and will the players be able to stick to it? Like the formation they came up with and the plan in the first half, you've got to be so disciplined, like everyone, to keep a clean sheet doing that. Like to go with runners, to close down space, to not take your eye off some of the quickest and most skillful forwards there is in world football. But the moments in which they let themselves down was defending a free kick in the first half, poor play from the goalkeeper in possession, and that third goal as well.
So you can't have a go at the coach saying you got it wrong, mate, you were too conservative.
Well, no, I think the scenarios that brought about the goals were nothing to do with the strategy that the coach came up with. But one of the things that the strategy that the coach came up with it limited the effectiveness of Leipzig going forward.
Let's have a look at the opportunities that Leipzig came up with in the second half. Yeah, they did put them under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, there was a couple of changes that he made at half-time. This was one of them. Forsberg came on, and this is like a decent shot from distance. But again, you'd be happy enough if you're PSG thinking a 35-yard shot is the best that your opponent can come up with. They're probing away, trying to make an opening here again. Angelino shoots. I was disappointed. Like, this is a sub-keeper who's of a much lower standard to the first choice. You would think that the first thing you would plant it was just pepper him.
He was supposed to be a very ordinary goalkeeper.
Yeah, and if you remember him, like
when he was in England, he had a couple of nightmares.
He's a great man for flapping as well. So you test him, but they didn't.
Okay. This is a breakthrough win for Paris to get into this final. They have tried, like, since the takeover. Okay, they've won loads of league titles, but here they are now, 90 minutes away from lifting their first Champions League trophy.
Yeah, after recent, I guess you could call it capitulations in recent years, Dara. You'd like to think it's probably saved Thomas Tuchel's job as well. I think getting to the final will be enough. And listen, it's down to who they're going to face now, Munich or Lyon. Presuming it's Munich that's going to get through. They're going to go toe-to-toe with them. So you see Leipzig tonight, they sit back in the mid-block and try and frustrate. Hopefully it's Munich, and that'll be a proper game.
Yeah, and like, I suppose for French football as well, you know, we in the past on this programme and others, we'd always be talking about how, well, I suppose how one teamed the French league is. Okay, the French league finished very early this year, but you know, these kind of things, they don't get the weekly competition. In the past, it's been a problem to raise them up to the standard they need to be to do a big run in this competition. Yeah,
I think I read a lot in the past week, the people trying to create a narrative around what this says about the standard of French football. The two French teams will be in the semi-final. I don't think it says anything about French football.
Does it not?
Lyon are there because of Lyon are they're not even the top team in France, and I think it was down to the approach of Man City, that they're at the level they're at, and PSG are there because they've put a squad together that cost 780 million. So 780 million will eventually get you a team that will get into a final of the Champions League. So I don't think it shows that there's a big improvement in French football at all. I think that the issue with PSG has always been like domestic dominance, but a difficulty in getting to this stage. They're there now. They will likely play Bayern Munich, we assume. And one of the things in all the focus from the post-match discussion against Barcelona, I mean, there was so many things to talk about. We never got round to mentioning actually Bayern Munich, particularly in the first 20 minutes, defensively. If you watch the footage again, like Barcelona had plenty of opportunities to score. So defensively, Bayern will create opportunities for this PSG front line.
And Damien, just to finish, like, Leipzig are back in this next season. Okay, although next season in this competition started tonight with qualifiers in Dundalk tomorrow. But are they going to be a flash in the pan, or are we going to see them go deep into next season's competition?
Listen, Dara, I think they'll always entertain, but like Stephen said in commentary, I think it's one step too far. Will we be seeing them in finals, semi-finals anytime soon? I don't think so. I still think they really missed that cutting edge. Yeah, they missed Werner tonight, but even to go win the Bundesliga, they need more. They'll always be a selling club, but amazing manager, amazing group of players, and what a journey they've just had.